You walk into the room. Every eye follows you. The air feels like lead. A joke fires straight at you. Laughter breaks out. Then another smile, sharper, colder, laced with contempt. The natural reaction for most people? A forced laugh, an explanation, a defense, a desperate attempt to prove they're not as bad as the words suggest. But in that very moment, you've already accepted the role of the weak. Because Machiavelli knew the truth, contempt is never accidental. It's a test. You think silence means ignoring it. Wrong. It means permission. You think explaining will save you. Wrong. You've just convicted yourself. You think kindness will earn you respect. Wrong. You've just given them a license to do it again. The cold truth, disrespect isn't a mistake, it's a strategy. And if you don't know how to strike back at the right moment, you don't just lose honor, you lose the frame of power itself. Today, I'll show you this. If someone dares to disrespect you, here's exactly what to do.
Disrespect begins as a whisper. A half-joke, half-truth. A stare that lingers too long. A smile with hidden thorns. It's not harmless, it's a test. A test to see how you'll react. Machiavelli understood this better than anyone. In a world obsessed with power, reputation, and dominance, respect isn't something you ask for. It isn't gifted. It must be enforced. And the very first moment you're disrespected is the most important test of all. Will you let others frame you, or will you force the entire room to adjust to your presence? The weak react emotionally. They blush, they argue, they explain, and in that instant, they lower themselves. They're framed as predictable. But the strong, they stay silent. Not passive silence, strategic silence. First law, those who react emotionally lose position. Those who hold strategic silence become the threat. Because this silence isn't retreat. It's a pause in rhythm, a black hole in conversation. Your opponent expects you to fire back, to return the energy. Instead, all they see is cold absence, and absence makes their hand tremble. Don't force a laugh. Don't pretend you didn't hear it. Don't explain. Just hold the gaze. Slow your voice. Keep your body still. You don't leave the game. You pull your energy out of it. And instantly, their little performance collapses. Because contempt only survives when you feed it with reaction. This is Machiavelli's secret. Power doesn't come from striking back quickly. It comes from forcing others to turn the mirror on themselves.
Next step, turn the mirror back on the one who disrespects you. They expect anger. They want you to lose control. But when you respond with a cold question, you force them into the trap. Are you sure you want to say that again? Sounds a little personal. Care to clarify? Confident you want the whole room to hear that? Each line isn't for debate. It's a surgical cut, an invitation for them to push themselves deeper into their own pit. Most will retreat because those who disrespect aren't usually strong. They're opportunists. They test if your walls are weak. What you need isn't revenge. It's planting doubt. Doubt about their own standing. Doubt about the cost of repeating the act. You're not seeking satisfaction. You're planting quiet fear. But the game doesn't stop there. One silence, one reframing cut, it may slow them down, but the insecure will test again. Not direct this time, more subtle. A small joke, a glance passed over you in decision-making, a smirk in the corner of their mouth. They're checking, Was your response real or just a burst? This is when you reset the boundary, not with words, with presence. You don't return to normal. You don't act like nothing happened. You adjust your tone, your presence, the weight of your attention. No announcement, but everyone feels it. A new line has been drawn. Machiavelli called this the silent punishment. You withdraw warmth. Your words sharpen. An invisible door stands between you and the offender. No war declared, just a coldness they can't escape. And this coldness doesn't stop at them. It spreads across the whole room. Everyone's watching. They see you don't shout, you don't whine, you shift the energy field itself. And they learn one lesson. Touching you means shutting themselves out. No threats, no loud retaliation. You simply remove your light, and they sink into their own darkness.
But Machiavelli never stopped at defense. He knew the clever will try again. The reckless will escalate. And that's when you turn their contempt into your counterweapon. Third law, turn disrespect into the blade that cuts them. When they think they're shaking you, you don't lash out. You don't fight fire with fire. You simply expose them with light. Oh, is that the kind of joke you make outside the office too? I wonder, do you talk like that to your family? Wow, I didn't think you'd say that out loud. The words aren't heavy, but they cut like a scalpel. You transform their rudeness into a stain for all to see. The crowd no longer laughs. They start looking at them. Their seat begins to shake. And the most terrifying part? You remain calm, cold, dry, not a drop of sweat. That's Machiavellian retaliation. Not loud, not clumsy, precise, measured, with consequences deeper than any outburst could deliver. Fourth law, once you draw the line, never loosen it. This is where most people fail. They handle it once, then smile, let the offender slide back like nothing happened. That's the hole. That's the invitation to strike again. Machiavelli would despise that weakness. You must hold the frame. Once someone has lost access to your warmth, the door doesn't swing open again so easily. You become selective. Your words tighten. Your presence hardens with steel. You're no longer touchable. And at that point, it's not just the offender who hesitates. The entire room begins adjusting around you. They speak with more care. They describe you with new terms, sharp, disciplined, unpredictable. Your name now carries weight, not because you asked for it, but because you enforced it.
Fifth law, when disrespect escalates, raise the game to the social level. Some people don't stop. They don't care about the crowd's eyes. They thrive on chaos. They live to break order. That's when you stop handling them personally. You handle them socially. Don't shout. Don't argue. You turn their actions into a mirror, reflecting back in front of everyone. Is that the kind of joke you use in other meetings too? If that's how you talk to friends, I wonder how you talk to strangers. The crowd hears it. The crowd processes it. And suddenly, the offender is on an island, not because you crush them, but because society itself begins to isolate them. This is the strength of the social frame. You're not alone. You let the audience become your weapon. Machiavelli wrote about this half a millennium ago. The wise leader knows how to make the enemy dig his own grave in front of the people. Sixth law, become unpredictable. If you're easy to read, you're easy to control. Anyone who can read you like a book can use you like a pawn. Machiavelli warned, rulers must keep an element of mystery. So sometimes you respond, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you stay silent, sometimes you fire back with a question. Sometimes you smile faintly, sometimes you simply walk away. They never know what you'll do next, and that uncertainty is your shield. The moment they think, how will he react this time? They hesitate. The moment they can't predict where your boundary lies, they back off. That's when you've taken real control. Seventh law. Turn disrespect into a test of reputation. You thought handling it once was enough? Wrong. That's just the opening round. Every time you're tested, the whole room is watching. They're not just observing how you deal with one person. They're measuring how you defend yourself against society itself. If you hold your frame without losing your temper, without explaining, without begging for support, they see something rare: certainty. And in a world of doubt, lies, and shifting loyalties, certainty is the most valuable currency. People start saying, "Don't joke with him," not because you're aggressive, but because you're disciplined. They don't think you're explosive. They think you're untouchable. And untouchable always equals dangerous. The peak of the game, knowing when to do nothing. Disrespect is sometimes bait, a trap to pull you into petty battles. Machiavelli reminds us, the truly powerful know when silence isn't just a reaction, it's a sentence. Some people don't deserve a reply, because answering elevates them to your level. Better to let them fade into the shadows in your world. That's the ultimate strength. Your absence weighs more than their presence. And when you master all of this, the change is undeniable. The boardroom quiets when you enter. The cheap jokes fly elsewhere, never at you. People choose their words carefully, knowing one slip could close the door on them forever. You didn't ask for respect. You didn't beg for it. You became the embodiment of it.
Machiavelli once wrote, "Men must either be respected or eliminated." In today's world, it no longer means violence. It means discipline of the mind. You don't need to yell. You don't need to prove. You simply create cold consequences, and others adjust around you. That's his legacy. Power doesn't live in the noise of your words. It lives in the frame you set. The weak chase sympathy. The strong create silence that makes the whole world cautious. And in that silence, you don't just block disrespect, you redefine who you are. When you master this, you stop being driven by insult. Insults become signals. You no longer react with emotion, you act with strategy. And that single difference lifts you out of the crowd. But here's the deeper secret. You can't control the outside world until you control the inside one. Machiavelli teaches you how to build the outer frame of power, but to keep that frame steady, you need inner stillness. That's where Ho'oponopono certification comes in, not as a typical course, but as a tool for discipline. It trains you to strip away emotional hooks, to keep your mind clear, to make your presence untouchable, because respect is never given, it's enforced. And that journey begins inside you. Picture it. You walk into any room. No argument pulls you in. No misunderstanding shakes you. Your aura stands firm as stone, but inside, you're light as water. That's the balance. Machiavelli's strategy on the outside, Ho'oponopono's stillness on the inside. Together, they form the ultimate weapon, feared without, unshaken within. And this isn't just theory, it's a skill. It's trainable, it's certifiable. It can become your standard of living. Thousands have already taken it on. The results speak for themselves. Sharper confidence, colder respect, deeper peace. So here's the choice in front of you. Stay trapped in the cycle of defending yourself, or step into the path of becoming untouchable. Choose Ho'oponopono certification today, not to become someone else, but to become the strongest, most Machiavellian version of yourself. If you're ready for the next level, click the link below.